welcome to Benched. We're the Tovar Brothers, episode 57.
57?
Black Friday episode.
Oh.
I didn't update the date. I think it's November 24th. Is that right?
Day after Thanksgiving?
Yeah. November 24th, 2023. This is episode 57, and I don't know a single ex-NFL player that's 57.
TJ Edwards.
Oh, dang it.
Former Philadelphia Eagle.
My boy.
Yeah, come on, man.
That doesn't feel good.
57, that's a tough one. It's kind of awkward in the 50s. 57's not the most popular one.
Yeah, obviously this is a little different here.
Yeah.
We are not in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
We are not in a studio.
Nope.
We are in a bedroom with some bright lights in our faces. And
feels like we're being interviewed by
like
Fox News.
Yeah. or we're having like a we're caught behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
We're being interrogated.
Yeah.
That's how it feels right now in this room. But like we say, we come Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And this is further proof of that.
Yes.
This Black Friday episode. Not going to be a long episode today. We're just going to get into a couple things here. The news, pick the games for next week, and then also recap yesterday's games. Because yesterday's games were interesting. Not what I expected, but interesting.
That's you're putting it very generously.
Yeah.
They were boring.
Yeah,
they were not good.
They were not good. No, the first game was good.
There was hope of the San Fran-Seattle game being fun.
Yes.
Then you quickly remembered, that's why Geno Smith wasn't on a team.
Yeah. Yeah, let's before we get into that, thank you for watching here. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, we usually don't look like this. I think this is fine. I mean, you can see us clearly.
So if they're new to our video, scroll this way to watch our other videos where we're in our set. Yeah,
full studio and all that. But we are on the road celebrating Thanksgiving with some family up in Northern California. On this episode, we're gonna. I said that already, but we'll get into the week 12 already. Jeez.
It's flying, my friend.
Week 12, 3 weeks left of most fantasy football leagues.
That's a big deal, too.
That's wild.
Yes.
So good luck with you guys down the stretch here. Some of you fighting for the playoffs, some of you fighting for that number 1 seed, and some of you fighting for that next year's number 1 seed.
Sorry if you played a DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, any Seattle Seahawks last night. That was tough.
Not good. Are you Zach Charbonnet truthers?
Yeah.
And I was there with you. It just didn't work out.
No, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. Anyways, thanks for watching on YouTube or listening. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast, thank you so much for that. Also, follow us between the show on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Search at Bench Show to see everything that we're putting up there, reaction. And as the league changes, as people get hurt, there's a couple of big-name free agents out there right now, actually. One of them is a pretty notable linebacker. We'll talk about it in a second. We'll get into that, but to see our reaction to that, go to follow those social media accounts. I actually got into it today with the Benched account.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
You saw?
Yeah, I was glad that that's how the company's being represented. But as co-CEO, co-host, you are allowed to have your freedom.
We are what we are.
Yeah.
Before we get into yesterday's games, I want to ask you a question. Under $500 for Jack Harlow's budget for his set.
That thing cost $49.99.
That was a joke. That was unbelievable.
I love Jack Harlow as an artist. Yeah. I'm a big Jack Harlow guy. That was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, you're worth I don't know if it was his budget or what they allowed him for CBS. I doubt that was it. Right. But just kind of a white tarp and an igloo that was used for, like,
semi-transparent tarp.
Yeah.
So you can see how cheap.
And then his boy, Steven with the blue hat. Yeah. That was awkward.
The only thing I could maybe think of, like, why that would be allowed to happen is because they wanted a meme moment.
I mean, they got it. It was very quickly on Twitter, on Instagram.
That was really bad. When you're outdone, you're Jack Harlow, and you're kind of the hotness. He's not so big anymore, like, as far as, like...
He used to be. Now he's still relevant.
Like, recently the hotness.
Yeah.
And Dolly Parton does that to you.
Where she's so old she has to walk with her hand on the railing to walk around.
And yet she blew you out of the water.
Yeah.
It's
tough.
It's a tough look for Jack Harlow. Not the greatest for him. But let's get into these games here. We started the day with the Green Bay Packers taking on the Detroit Lions. Lions, of course, fight for that number 1, fighting for that bye in the NFC playoffs. Mm-hmm. And we're supposed to take care of the Packers, who had been, playing below 500 football all year pretty easily, and that's not how it turned out.
No. It was a lot of Jordan Love looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah.
Or when you're listening to this, it looks pretty good against the Lions.
Yeah. Throw Jordan Love now, if he keeps playing like this, into that conversation that we've been having about Kyler Murray, about Justin Fields. These teams are going to have high picks and have to decide whether or not they're going to go take a Caleb Williams, a Drake May, Bo Nix, whoever that might be, or stay with their guy and keep letting them develop. That's a tough. I don't envy that. That's a hard decision.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks though of Love playing well, so this is what you want to see. But also it makes it a little hard on them. Like, okay, do we believe this, guys?
Right.
Like, it's happening. Do we believe it? Does the team believe it? Does the head coach believe it? But good for him though. But more importantly, the Lions flat again.
Lions struggled.
Second week in a row, they struggled getting started here.
To me, the thing that stood out the most was the secondary. Maybe because Jordan Love's playing well, but I hadn't seen that secondary play that badly. Remember last year, they were this bad all year.
Yep.
But they had kind of righted the ship. Brian Branch was playing out his mind. The veterans they brought in were playing well too, but they just got diced yesterday.
Yeah.
Jordan Love on the day, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 125 passer rating, was 22 of 32. He, like you said, he just carved them up, and it was, if you're a Packer fan, awesome to see. If you're a Lions fan, that's terrifying because you need this second half of the season is when you really want your team to be playing its best ball.
Hey, also, no disrespect to the Packers, but like, you're gonna have to go into San Fran, into Philly, where they can pass the ball at a better rate than the Packers have, also more consistently.
Yeah.
You're gonna need your secondary to play a little better than that. It was but besides that, and like the running game looks good, but the defense was not great. Was not great. It was kind of like, I don't know, disappointing. I was disappointed, Lions. I thought they'd show out. I thought they'd show up big.
Disappointing performance.
Yeah. So
Thanksgiving is usually their day anyway. They're finally good on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out. The other 2 games were blowouts. Not very excited at all. We'll talk about the Cowboys Commanders real quick. Dak's playing really good football right now. Mm-hmm. He's throwing the ball really well. 4 touchdowns yesterday, 331 yards, and just unstoppable. Looked literally unstoppable against that Commanders team, which is kind of tanking.
Yeah.
They fired Jack Del Rio.
He was the problem for sure.
Yeah, that's in the news.
It's fixed now. Del Rio's gone.
Yeah, that was the problem.
Yeah, Del Rio.
But yeah, they beat the Commanders, and they should beat the Commanders, and they should blow out the Commanders. So I'm not down on Cowboys. I'm a little weary of Cowboy fans kind of taking too many victory laps.
A couple fun facts about that game, though.
What's that?
Deron Bland has the 5th.
Yes.
He set the record for 5 straight pick sixes. All his picks
I thought it was 6.
He has 5.
5. So 5 in one season, not just picks, but pick sixes,
yes,
is the record all time for the NFL.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
Hopefully that's right. No, I'm worried.
It is.
Okay.
Deron Bland, that's amazing.
That's phenomenal.
And what a find for the Cowboys, who lose Trayvon Diggs early in the season, and they look like they're lost. And Deron Bland comes in, and
that's good drafting.
You know,
shout out to them.
He's been okay in coverage, but he's kind of like Trayvon Diggs in that he's just a turnover guy.
Diggs the same way. Diggs is okay in coverage,
yeah,
but he takes chances, and he's most times like rewarded for those. And Deron Bland, look at that, 5 touchdowns later.
Yeah, so they blow out the Commanders 45-10. Moving on, the 49ers were taking on the Seahawks, and this is probably the most disappointing performance of the day. Even more disappointing than the Lions. No, not really. Lions the most, but Seahawks just weren't competitive the entire game.
No, Geno, whether he was hurt or not, was just off, holding the ball too long. Offense never got going. They missed Kenneth Walker, not be able to establish a run game.
Yeah.
And defensively, they were kind of hit or miss, but too much stuff. The Niners have too many things going for them. If you want to be like one of the big dogs, Seattle, you have to play the Niners.
Yeah, and I don't want to I also don't want to miss the fact that the Niners are just playing really, really well right now.
They're playing very well.
When they're at full strength, they're as good as any team. I believe that. As the Eagles, as the Chiefs, as the Ravens. Those 4 up there at the top of the league are just clearly the best and should be playing each other in the championship round.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But overall, next year, let's do better, guys. Come on. You know what I'm saying?
You know
let's
what?
do better.
Bravo to the NFL for scheduling the right games.
It was...
Even the game that's going on right now. We're recording during this Jets...
I think it just ended.
Did it just end?
Yeah.
This Jets-Dolphins game looks like the Dolphins blow them out. 34-13 I think that was the final score.
Or Rob Boyle. What's his name?
Tim Boyle, I think.
He's not
Tim
good.
Boyle's debut did not go as planned.
What do you know? Shocker. He's not a good quarterback. What do you know?
Jets lose again, and they can pretty much kiss their playoffs hopes goodbye with this loss.
There was a report that Rodgers is going to come back even if they're not.
No matter what, yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will. That's the recap for Thanksgiving's games. Either way, it was football. It was football all day.
Lucky enough, it was so much good food yesterday. Kind of distracted.
Yeah, it was a good time. Let's get into the news. News is brought to you by 818 Brewing And we'll start here at the top. Some releases. The Eagles are releasing former first-round pick Derek Barnett per Adam Schefter. He goes on waivers. Originally picked, I think, we were at the draft where he was picked, right?
Yeah, you're such an Eagle fan. You put that first.
It was just the most recent thing on the Twitter.
Yeah, you know what?
The Twitter sphere.
I think that you have it tied to another thing. He's nice. He's a nice guy to have. He'll be picked up by somebody.
He's nice. What's more interesting is the spot he leaves open.
Yeah.
Is that for another free agent that might be available? We'll have to wait and see. A couple of these stories here happened a couple of days ago, right after we filmed our other show, so we wanted to talk about them here. The Steelers fire offensive coordinator Matt Canada. So,
also, that's fixed now, apparently. He was the problem.
Yeah, Matt Canada. I mean, he might have been.
He might have been.
Talked to a Steelers fan.
Part of the problem.
You talked to a Steelers fan, he definitely was the problem. But we'll definitely have to see. I don't know.
Or go watch Kenny Pickett for one game.
Yeah. I believe the running backs coach now becomes the offensive coordinator. I forgot his name. But the bigger point of that is that coaches are starting to get fired.
Yep.
With the Canada firing, this month we've now seen the Raiders, the Bills, the Steelers, and the Commanders all make major coaching fires. Just the Raiders have fired their head coach, but defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators starting to hit the chopping block.
Yep. And I'm telling you right now, we like Joe Brady back when he might get a little run here at an offensive coordinator job at another team next year. It might be a nice spot. So Joe Brady, now the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. And good for showing. They play.
They beat the Jets and they blew them out.
They hung 32 on the Jets.
Yeah.
Which is that's awesome. I mean, that's one of the best defenses in the league.
And I'm not saying he's a head coach candidate. I'm saying next year, if your team's building a staff, if you have Joe Brady, just know he's very talented. He just was.
Yeah. Before I get to the Darius Leonard news, I want to talk about this Seahawks news real quick. I didn't know he had been struggling, to be honest, just to be fair about this point. But Seahawks benched starting cornerback Tariq Woolen for cornerback Michael Jackson, who I believe is also a second year player. In the first half, they benched Tariq Woolen. If you remember, Tariq Woolen last year was, many people thought should have been the defensive rookie of the year over Sauce Gardner, who had an all-time year.
Yeah.
Played really well, came in with, low expectations, didn't have the juice around, his story, and yet balled out last year for the Seahawks. To see him benched now halfway through the season was shocking to me.
Yeah, I don't know if obviously you want your best players to play their best against the best teams, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm putting too much stuff, like, it is the Niners. Like, sometimes, like, say, like, someone beats you, like Ayuk beats you, like, okay, well, I can only cover him so well, he's Brandon Ayuk. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that there's an excuse, but, like, is this an overreaction, or is it build up over?
So I'm saying it has to be a build up. I don't think they're benching him if he's just because Ayuk was going off, Debo was really going off.
Yeah.
Kittle was having a big day, so no one was playing well in the secondary. So it had to have been accumulation of bad play.
Yeah.
For Pete Carroll there to pull Tariq Woolen. Interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that because you just don't see that kind of drop off from a cornerback in his second year.
No, and I guarantee you, agents have already started talking. If this keeps up throughout the year, every team in the NFL is going to be calling to Seattle. What's your plans with Tariq? We'll fix him.
On a rookie contract?
Hopefully,
Absolutely.
Hopefully this isn't long term. Hopefully he'll get back to what he was playing because that Seattle defense with him, when they're all rolling, it's pretty fun to watch.
Last thing here, the Colts are releasing former All-Pro linebacker Darius Shaquille Leonard, also known as Shaq Leonard. He announced himself. He then passed through waivers and is now an unrestricted free agent. And someone's going to get to sign him for about $420,000 for the rest of the season.
After this went out, I was seeing some clips pop up on Twitter and I went on YouTube. He's not quite the same after all those surgeries to his lower body or injuries to his lower body. So
yeah,
either way, though, it's a good veteran to have on your team. Maybe he's not what he used to be. At least
I think it's a combination of a couple things.
Yeah.
They owe him $6 million this year. Next year that would go up to I think 6.4. They have someone who is playing really well as his position.
Zaire Franklin.
Yeah, he is really taking over. I think he's a leader.
He's very good
for the league.
Last year he was good too. Yeah.
And so you have an aging player who's been hurt. It's the Derek Carr situation for next year too. The $6.4 million is only guaranteed if he gets hurt. So it's the Derek Carr situation. It's where they would have to just sit him, so he wouldn't have that money guaranteed. And he's been hurt quite often, so they just decided let's just release this guy. Wash our hands of his contract. We have someone already playing for him, and move on here and give him a chance to play because he had been in the headlines recently. I don't know if you've seen, but he was not going to take a benching for the rest of the season very well.
Isn't he their captain?
I don't think anymore, is he? I don't
Oh
think so.
well, either way, like, and maybe this is a nice. It probably seems like a nice thing to cut somebody. Maybe they're like, hey, we're not gonna play you. We might just cut you so you can go play somewhere else.
Yeah.
But either way, a lot of playoff teams are for sure calling Shaq Leonard for sure.
Yeah, so far the Eagles and Cowboys seem to be the front runners for his services. Eagles obviously very thin at linebacker with the loss of Nakobe Dean. I think he's at IR right now. He should be back, but still, Nakobe Dean not there. And I believe the Cowboys lost Van Der Esch. And so they're looking to replace him as well. And I'm sure there's other teams calling. He was very good very recently.
I know the Broncos are interested, but playoff teams like your guys' teams, NFC like Cowboys, Eagles, who are a little bit more in the playoffs now. That's a great ad for any team.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that. That would be usually guys like that aren't available in late November.
No,
so that's a big deal. Okay, we're gonna do game picks in almost a minute here, and I'm gonna have to use the clock here on the board because my phone is across the room, and I'm not gonna get up and get it. Okay, so here we go. Week 12, we got game picks. Obviously, less games to pick from here as 4 already in the books.
We might get this one. Does it count if we get whatever?
It always counts.
Here we go.
It always counts.
Always
Sorry,
counts.
3, 2, 1. Here we go. Saints 5-5 at the Falcons 4-6.
Falcons, actually. I think Ritter has some magic.
I got the Saints here. Jameis Winston comes in with the hotness.
Oh, God.
6-4 Steelers at the 5-5 Jake Browning Bengals.
Sorry, Jake Browning means no for me. Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers going to win this one, and they're going to hang it on Matt Canada. 7-3 Jaguars at the 6-4 Texans. Big game in the AFC North.
I'll take Jacksonville. I think they even out their 1-1 season. I'll take Jacksonville here.
I got the Texans. I think Stroud keeps it up and beats the Jaguars in a huge game. Maybe MVP talk. 4-6 Bucks at the 5-5 Colts.
I'll take my Bucks here.
I think the Bucks are going to pull this one out. 2-8 Patriots. Ouch. Against the 3-8 Giants. Yuck.
I'm not watching this, but I'm going to go just because he's a cool name. Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I'm going with Tommy DeVito as well. His dad looks absolutely terrifying in the stands.
Yep.
1-9 Panthers taking on the 3-7 Titans.
Another bad one.
Another yucky game.
I guess I'll take Levi Jeans here. I'll take the Titans.
Yeah, I think so too. Bryce Young and the Panthers are just really bad. 4-6 Rams at the 2-9 Cardinals. Kyler Murray.
Kyler gets his first win as a Cardinal for the season.
I think Stafford's going to play, and I think Stafford and Kupp is going to play as well. I think they pull it out, and the Rams win. 7-3 Browns taking on the 5-5 Broncos. A big game, surprisingly.
Can I? I'll pick the Broncos, but I'll talk about it later. I'll put the Broncos.
I'm going with the Broncos as well. I think they're going to win it. 7-3 Chiefs taking on the 5-6 Raiders.
This is a terrible spot for the Raiders after a big loss. Chiefs by a lot.
Yeah, the magical run of Pierce ends here. Chiefs blow them out. 6-5 Bills at the 9-1 Eagles. Game of the week. Who do you got?
Very close game. I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, I get it.
Close game, Buffalo Bills.
This game's at the link. The Eagles are at all-time high. They're healthy. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I think the turnovers hurt the Bills here. 8-3 Ravens at the 4-6 Chargers.
Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens gonna win.
Wide margin.
What they do. Yep. And then on Monday night we're gonna get the Bears at 3-8 against the Josh Dobbs Vikings 6-5. What do you got?
Taking the Josh Dobbs, baby. Prime
Justin
time.
Fields is back. I think on Monday night he's gonna be looking saucy.
Yeah.
And I think the Bears win here.
Time. Minute 13.
Minute 13.
But okay,
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. When we went to the Browns Broncos, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about a couple of these.
Okay,
here.
Browns Broncos. Very good game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bronco fan here. My heart chose Broncos.
But my body.
But my mind is telling me that the Browns are just going to shut down everything that Russell can do, and they're just going to eke out a win, another like what the Browns always do. It's going to be 9-6, and Browns might win. But I picked the Broncos, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns win this one, because this is what they do.
I think the biggest problem is going to be, I can see a way the Browns can score, and that's by running the ball.
Yeah.
Okay? I can't see a way the Broncos are going to score because they're not going to throw on the Browns. They're not going to have nearly enough time. Russell Wilson's going to get sacked a lot this game. And I can't. I benched Javonte Williams in one of my leagues. I don't want to play them against the Browns, and I love Javonte Williams. I can see the Browns just committing to that run game, hopefully letting DTR run a little bit as well. This is probably his last start of the year before Flacco takes over. And it's not going to take much. I think the first of 15 wins this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a low-scoring game. As a Bronco fan, I'm not going to get any popcorn. I'm going to get my cup of coffee ready. It's going to be a very slow game.
Because it might be a long one.
But I wanted to talk about Philly Bills.
Let's do it.
Okay. I really think that Buffalo Bills, I just like Joe Brady, and I like what they did last week. I like that after the game, Josh Allen said, I feel like Josh Allen again. I feel like myself again. Maybe this is just they need something to happen, something to break in order for it to be fixed. And the breaking point was Dorsett.
Yeah.
And now maybe this is just who.
You don't know what's going on in the locker room. Look at the Bears once Allen Williams left.
Yeah.
We didn't think that was a big deal at all.
Yeah.
But they played totally different when he was gone out of the building.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's him. Maybe it's just the fact that there's a change. But
also the fact that the Eagles just came off an emotional, heavy win last week. Maybe this is a little bit of a. No, I don't know. I'm just feeling the Bills here.
It could be a trap. I don't want to say a trap game.
It's not a trap game.
You don't overlook the Bills.
Josh Allen.
But they have the Niners next week, and I know that's a big game to the that might be a bigger game than the Chiefs to them.
The Eagles.
To the Eagles.
Yeah.
So
a lot of trash talk will be going on.
Yeah, it's a lot going on there here, and it's a must win for the Bills as well. That kind of speaks to your point. Like the Bills need to win this game.
And then also, we picked different sides here: Jags and Texans battle for the AFC South. Where are we? How we've come this far with football, where the Jaguars are fighting for their life against the Texans, a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. Oh God, football's fun.
I'll tell you right now, if the Texans win this Sunday, they're going to win the AFC South, and they're going to host the playoff game.
Yeah, because now they would have because they won the first game. Now if they have 2 games, now even if they have the same record, the Texans still are going to have the advantage because they have tiebreaker. So
let me ask you a question that's kind of interesting. If you were starting a franchise today, are you going with Lawrence or Stroud?
You asked me this a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna go with C.J. Stroud now.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
This man Lawrence was
the general. Elway. He was the prospects wise. He was up there with Elway, Caleb Williams, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck,
and he just has never been elite. He's just been good. He's been solid. Occasionally, he can keep up in a shootout, but
it's weird.
What we've seen in Stroud this year, a run that he's been on, we've never seen Lawrence do that once in his career.
Yeah,
and so I'm with you. It's just crazy to have that question be so obviously one way.
Yep.
Like no, definitely Stroud.
Yeah, it's
no questions asked.
Yeah, it's Stroud. Stroud's really. I mean, last week he did throw 3 picks, but he still looked good in the game. Like I know that's kind of sounds like you're making excuses for him.
Yeah.
But he's just He's a good quarterback who's leading his team. And if you watch the Texans play, they are bought in to C.J. Stroud. Like he's their leader. It's fun to watch, and it's good for the AFC now. Now that we have another good quarterback, another good team in this already stacked AFC. And
I don't know if you saw it, but my boy's back in Houston.
How'd you explain this?
Juice Struggs.
Yeah.
Rookie center.
You've been I've never seen so much hype from you about a non-Philadelphia center it's just.
I'm a big fan of Juice Struggs.
Yeah.
From Syracuse.
Evidently.
He's, I think, a huge shot in the arm for them. And, what if the Texans win a playoff game at home?
Also, let's not forget, without these last 2 weeks, 3 weeks he's been out their top running back.
Yeah.
Another castaway, Devin Singletary out here tearing it up.
Pierce will be back. We'll see how that backfield splits.
Singletary's playing nice too.
Fantasy-wise, I will, if you can, you watch and you sit both of them for now.
Yeah.
No way you play.
There's no way you sit Singletary now, though. He's played so well.
You mean in
real life? Yeah. There's no way you say, "Oh, it's all Pierce's job."
No, he's gonna get carries still.
So,
I mean, I'm looking at the standings now. It's just they're big weeks in standings. Even these games where it's not the Bills and the Eagles. Even the games like the Broncos and the Browns.
Yeah.
Huge implications with the playoff down the stretch. You got to pay attention to everything. You got to pay attention to remaining schedule. If you are in fantasy football, I'll tell you what a noob does. He doesn't look at the playoff schedule.
No.
I'll tell you what a league winner does. He looks at the playoff schedule and he picks up players based on a playoff schedule.
Every trade offer you get, you say, let me see his week 10 or week 12 to 15, wherever you play. Playoff schedule. That's what matters most.
Yeah. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. That's the show for today. Thanks very much for joining us. And have a good weekend.
Hey.
Happy Black Friday.
Do some shopping.
Go buy some stuff. We're going to go buy some stuff.
Some stuff you don't need. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep. If you don't like it, always return it.
Yep.
Thank you, Amazon.
Peace.
We'll see you Monday.